On the 12th of April this year, that's 2025, being the 10th season of the Women of Stature Awards in South Africa, we have with us here today our, hold on, sorry, that's wrong. The 12th of April, 2025, a very significant date and day in the life of Chantal da Silva, who is our Entrepreneur of the Year winner for 2025. So Chantal, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So Chantal, it was quite a night, and it's always interesting to find out a little bit more from the winner, how she actually experienced that moment that their name was called out. So in your instance, you were in the Entrepreneur of the Year category. And tell us a little bit about the emotions that went on the night. How did you feel when your name was called out?
Wow, I must say, I was pretty overwhelmed. It was a real mixture of emotion. Of course, total pride was, and absolutely honored. I think, my journey has been really such one of putting my head down and driving this business to make sure that we got where we needed to be, and never really stopping to have a look and see, gee, what have I actually achieved? So when it came through, thank you, it was absolutely validating, totally overwhelming. I think you heard it in my voice on the stage during my acceptance speech. Absolutely.
It's always interesting to see the reaction of the ladies on the night, and, the surprise, the absolute surprise when it comes to being you as the winner. Now, your company is Jasper Medical. Just give us a little bit of a background to the business. So from an entrepreneurial point of view, when did you start and how long has it been going, and what is it that you specialize in?
So we're 17 years in, so quite some time along the road. We are an outsourced sales and merchandising and marketing company that works specifically in the pharmaceutical arena. So we have a platform of suppliers that we supply outsourced marketing and sales solutions to. So we have a full footprint of representatives out in the trade. We work in the channels like Dis-Chem, Clicks, Independent Pharmacy. We do cover Woolworths, Foschini. We have all our staff out there looking after specific companies' brands out in the trade.
And you started this business, you say, 17 years ago?
17 years ago, out of corporate. So my background did run out of corporate. It was nice to have the corporate background. 17 years ago, decided to take the plunge. So I'm glad I took it. It was a very difficult plunge to take. And in some ways, if I look at it, I'd actually been brought into a business that ran into a little bit of a trouble at the time. And I was launched, whether I liked it or not, overnight into survive. It was fight and flight mode. And I took the road of fight and started the ground with 3 people running, and now sit with a team of just under 60 people that we have out in the trade, working through the stores, and continue to grow.
Incredible. So you are a true entrepreneur. You truly deserve this award. You've worked hard. You've really proved yourself. And we know that very often it's quite a thankless job, isn't it? Because you're all things to all people. From the time you open that door, you've got to look after just about everything. Can I just ask you, winning this award, you've already said it's come as a surprise. And so what did you think at the time when you were nominated? What went through your mind then? And what inspired you to actually pursue it and to see it right through to the end?
Actually, it was the nomination that came through that made me stop and do a bit of introspect, look into, wow, actually stop for a minute. My head, like I say, is down every day. And I think so many of us as women go out there and just deal with it every day. It was a case of chasing the business and making sure all those people that are brought into the business, the security's there, they kept safe every day, and that the business continues to grow. The nomination, probably in 17 years, this is the first time I've gone, when the nomination came through, stop, have a look, and just have a look at what you've built. Stop and look around. And I think so many women are probably on the same path. So for me, it was validation. It was, wow, look what you've done. And not when the nomination came through, it became, okay, let's have a look at this journey, because what can this build for me personally? The confidence, the inspiration, the energy to keep going after 17 years when someone's looking, saying, look what you're doing, stop and have a look. And what the nomination is also just so important for the people in the journey with me, which is, of course, all my staff members. It's been extremely validating for them, not only myself. So this has not only been a personal journey, but that for my staff as well.
And I think very often we don't give ourselves enough of a pat on the back. And I think that's what you've done. You've given yourself the pat on the back and said, I'm deserving on this, and I'm actually going to go ahead with it. And you pursued and you continued on the path with us right through until the end. And here we are today. You're the winner. You're the lady that, you know, stood the test of time for 17 years, and you're an incredible inspiration to other people, women, men alike, you know, that it takes hard work, but it takes a lot of determination to stay the course. Anything that you do in life, if you stay the course, there will be an ultimate outcome. How do you hope that through this achievement, your work will impact and inspire others in your company, as you've mentioned already, but the community at large?
I hope it can be an inspiration for, there's so many women out there that we kind of seem to get into the role of perceiving that we have to have achieved so much or have certain doctorates, PhDs, etc. behind our name to actually be able to do and to be able to build a business. Yes, they're important, but it should be able to inspire women that you can take a business, you can take from being a basic person into going out there and building a business from basically nothing. Build all the way through from just, if you've got the strive and the determination and believe in yourself. I'm hoping that it really does inspire, and I know it has. My staff have come through saying, what an inspiration. You know, we really are just put our head down and go. So really to be an inspiration that if you feel you can do it, you can do it. Trust yourself, you can do it.
So I could just imagine when you got back to the office on the Monday and you announced that you actually won the category. I'm sure they were also sorry they weren't there to actually.
Absolutely. But I didn't wait for Monday. It was on the group already.
Well, that's great. That's great. So they had the whole weekend to get ready to pounce on you on the Monday to celebrate with you.
Yes.
Now we know you made mention, and it's so true. There's so many women out there that are working very hard and really do deserve recognition, but they don't necessarily see it in themselves. What advice would you give to someone like you who is looking at the possibility of some similar type of experience and hoping to be able to follow in your footsteps? What would you say to encourage them to definitely do so?
I think, you know, what happens is, and if I look at where I come from, and I come across it often, is there's people in the corporate industry, women in the corporate industry saying, gee, I'd love to be able to go out there and just do this on my own, but I'm stuck in the corporate, and we got families to feed, and we always take on that responsible role that, no, let's just say and stay in a safe space. You got to be able to trust yourself to take the leap. Obviously, you've got to have a look around you and make sure that before you take the leap, it's a safe-ish leap. You'll never know until you're in it. Find the support, have the support of a background, knowing that there's got to be people to work with and to fall back on. There's going to be times of doubt. Wow. I remember starting off this business. In fact, I was talking about it with the staff the other day. We were pulling the stats and having a look what we did in the first year or two of this business, and we go, how did I have the guts to continue when you're literally just breaking even? You're not even really making a number. How did I sleep at night? But you've got to have the faith in yourself, and it takes that first jump, and then you just got to just keep going. You've got to be prepared for the sleepless nights, the ongoing hours that you are going to put into it. But you got to know, once you hit those 5 years, you pretty much, you've found your feet. Yes, it takes about 5 years to find the security and the foundation, saying, okay, by the time you hit year 10, which does sound a long way in, but I promise you it gets there quicker than you know you're in it, and you're going to be around for a long time. Once you've hit that year 10, it's you're in and you're good to go. But take that leap, trust yourself, go tell your story.
Absolutely. And what would you say to a woman who is receiving a nomination for the 2026 awards or any other awards following that? What would you say to her to encourage her to take on this journey and be resilient and see it through to the end? What advice would you give them? And why would you encourage them?
Definitely jump, go tell your story. It's so important. What I've taken from this, and what so many of us trying to run our businesses out there, you're at a desk every day and you kind of forget to look around you. Joining this group of women, the first breakfast I walked into, what an inspiration, what a motivation to be standing amongst so many women who are going through exactly what you go through every day, but you forget to pick up the phone or you forget to network with. That network is invaluable. Those ladies that you meet on this journey are doing exactly what you're doing. So you get to talk to them, you get to understand, and it's motivating and it's inspirational. The workshops, really, really invaluable. Took so much from those. There's days where you open up that screen and you go into that workshop, and she's they were talking to us about the amygdala hijack. And I was that was my day for that kind of stress to be happening. So it's kind of what you take from those workshops and take away as just really, really a great journey. And regardless of the win or the no win, we were all sitting at that function, knowing that each and every one in that room is a winner. And the relationships and the friendships that you built along the way are going to last and see you through. They keep you motivated.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for highlighting a few important points there, and the workshops being one of them. And I think a lot of times the awards or an award ceremony isn't necessarily inclusive of workshops. And I think that's something that we realized as well over the years, is that we need to give something more to our nominees so that they really have a meaningful experience. So yes. You are here at this juncture of your career as an entrepreneur, as a woman in business. What is the next step for Chantal?
Sure, there's so much still on the table to do, lots to do. I've got an exciting journey ahead of me. The business is growing at a rapid pace. It is, and I'm at the junction of that peak where do we carry on? And Chantal carries on as an individual and keeps motivating and going. Do we bring on some partners into the business? Is where we're at this point, having a look at a lot of exciting ventures with suppliers on the table. So the business literally is booming, and very exciting. It's booming with Women of Stature Award winner going on to all my presentations that are going out there. And I want to thank you, because it's an absolute platform. It really is. It makes a big difference to the confidence that it brings to the business and to me as an individual. So I have a long road ahead of me still, with a lot of exciting ventures.
Exciting. Well, all we can say now is the very best of success with everything that you are, all your endeavors, everything that you're planning for the future. It's wonderful to have you on this journey with us, and it's still going to carry on for a very long time, because the one thing that we do stress upon is building long-term relationships. And I think you are now one of our alumni, and you're obviously always going to be part of the community, and but we'll always be there, cheering you on, following your path to whatever your destination might be. And it's been lovely chatting to you, and thank you so much for sharing, so that we can inspire other women to follow in your footsteps. Thank you, Chantal.
Thank you for the amazing journey. It's really been great. Thank you.